Democrats in Washington are riding high on what you might call hopium this Christmas season. Strong showings in special elections, Trump sinking poll numbers, and let's face it, fewer presents under the tree that most Americans can barely afford all bode well for their chances in the new year. But they have one big growing problem, their own Tea Party problem. That's exactly what happened to Republicans who felt so great in 2009 and 2010. There is a far left this time, far more concerned with owning Trump than actually getting votes. Jasmine Crockett's new run for Senate in Texas is Exhibit A, and there are more to come.
People vote for who they believe in. They vote for the people that they believe really care about bettering their lives. And what we know is apparent is that a lot of people have been turned off by Trump.
Crockett and the Democratic Tea Party has no plan other than we are not Trump. And if they do take back the House or even the Senate, that plan will sink them. My good friend Juan Williams writes in The Hill that Democrats need a Project 2027, a plan written by the adults in the room. Quote, they will need Project 2027 for their first 100 days of the Democratic majority as a game plan before facing tough waves of questions that could knock them down. Question number one. Will the best way to deal with calls for a third Trump impeachment? In January 2027, a new Democratic majority can't waste time debating impeachment. Now is the time to make deals about the best path and send a clear message to the party's base about what to expect from a Democratic majority in the House. Nina Turner, national co-chair for Bernie Sanders' 2020 campaign, former Ohio Senator, and Megan Hayes, former special assistant to President Biden. Ladies, welcome to both of you. I guess, Megan, start with you. Project 2027 obviously sounds like a lot like Project 2025. It also sounds a lot like Newt Gingrich's contract with America. Would Democrats be well served to say, this is what we are going to do in the first 100 days, and now I'm going to ask you the question, and that should not include impeaching Donald Trump?
So I think that Democrats need to focus on affordability and things like childcare and paid family leave and health insurance and making life more affordable for the American people to even be in a position to win back the House, to even have a plan for the first 100 days. So I'm not sure that we are getting the cart way before the horse here. So I'm not going to say whether
I think the point that Juan Williams was making was the contract with America was what Newt Gingrich came out with about this time in, if I'm doing the math right, late 1992 and said, or 93, no, 1993, and said, I am going to do, we Republicans, if we retake the House, are going to do all of these things. Should Democrats have that?
I think that Democrats and the base already know what we're going to do because that's what we've been doing. Democrats have been overperforming 220 out of 248 elections or special elections since Election Day last November when Trump was elected. They just won a mayor's seat in Miami for the first time in 30 years. So I think that the people know what Democrats are going to do because they are still electing them now.
Nina Turner, this is now probably the most vocal of all of the Democratic potential either statewide or big name candidates. Jasmine Crockett talking about how she will finally deliver on turning Texas blue.
Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways. Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way.
Nina, do you understand what the JC way is and whether it would work?
Well, Leland, any candidate that's running has got to say, whether it's Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett or anybody else, they're going to say that they have the opportunity to win. So that's par for the course. That's nothing unique to Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. We do know it will be an uphill battle for any Democrat in Texas. Democrats have not won statewide in Texas for a very long time, certainly over 30 years. They have competed. They should continue to compete. But, Leland, she's not saying anything differently than any other candidate running would say that they are going to win. You shouldn't run if you believe you can win, right?
No, that's fair. You shouldn't run saying you're not going to win.
That's right.
The idea, though, for Republicans is they seem very happy that Jasmine Crockett is running. It gives them a very vocal foil. John Cornyn, senator from Texas, who's up for re-election, possibly faces his own primary bid. But this is why he said he is happy about Crockett's candidacy.
Kamala Harris got about 42% of the vote in 2024, and I bet Jasmine Crockett will not exceed that. She'll be lucky if she does. She's simply the Alexandria Cortez AOC of Texas, and that may work in New York, but it won't work in Texas.
Megan, do Democrats face a risk this time around of what Republicans did with Herschel Walker and Mehmet Oz, of running candidates who are just so far to the left that they don't stand a chance and they become national drags on the ticket?
First, John Cornyn should worry about his own primary because he has a very tough primary in Texas and that's raised a lot of money to even win to his primary. So he should focus on that first before he wades into the Democratic Party and starts calling victory there. But I do think that Democrats are really good about running candidates that meet the moment for their communities. Democrats are always been a grassroots organization. We are not top down like Republicans. We find leaders that work in different communities. And that's what's special about the Democratic Party. We saw that in New Jersey and in Virginia, they elected 2 moderate women, but in New York City, they elected someone who is more progressive and more far left. And that works in those communities. So if the more people that want to run in primaries for the Democratic Party, especially in a place like Texas that is extremely diverse, extremely challenging to win for Democrats, the better it is for our party. It gets out votes. It turns out
I'm not sure you can say. I'm not sure you can say Republicans are top down because Donald Trump in 2015 was the complete anti-establishment. He ended up winning and taking over the Republican Party. Neither here nor there. Nina, I want to get a prediction from you. The New York Times is out with a big profile piece of Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris isn't ready to be written off. She was the vice president, yes, but it's not really up to any one person whether or not they're going to be written off. That's kind of up to the people. Prediction for a year from now, is Kamala Harris positioning herself for a presidential run?
Maybe. I mean, any politician worth their salt, if they're not quite sure whether or not they're going to jump in again, they're going to keep hedging all the way. She might be. But this time, hopefully, it will be a real primary. I disagree with my colleague in terms of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party neoliberal establishment wing always tries to crush people who come up from the left. It has not been the type of party that welcomes people with different views. So they cannot thumb their noses necessarily at both Republicans. They just cannot.
Both parties protect themselves. We're out of time, but Megan, you get the first word the next time we're back together. Thank you, ladies, both. First wrote about this in War Notes. Your chance for an inside look at the show every day. It is free at warnotes.com. and at Leland Vittert on social media.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.